We got a celebrity in here.
Check him out. Don't listen to none of that.
Now looking at a legend.
Do I need to put this on or can I just hold that like that? Can you hear me? All right, peace. It's a pleasure to be here as always. You know, I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I'm here to get my learn on. I'm a little late. But it's a beautiful time for us to be in because you're sitting amongst the masters. They're young, they're old, they come, they look just like you, and we all add on and we all build. And when they step back and find out when that consciousness shift took place, it's going to revolve around the brothers you see right here. Whenever you see Black Dot speaking, do not think I'm just speaking my own decoded information. You know, some of it is. However, it comes from out of A.A. Rashid's books. It comes from conversations with Brother Will, Phil. We all sit around and we build, and I might be a spokesperson that comes in front of the camera and deliver that information, but it's just from us building, going through different things. And next week, Brother's going to do a metaphysical breakdown of movies that's going to be phenomenal, because we got to understand that these movies are important. A lot of our brothers and sisters need to understand when they go into the theater that they not be entertained, but they need to be educated or entertained, so to speak, so where they can get this information and really, you know what I'm saying, get the true information of what's really going on and being conveyed in the movies. And since brothers want to get these little $5 movies, we're going to break them down for you. You can get all the $5 movies you want from out of the hood, but we're going to show you the real gems that's inside of those movies. So it's important for us to come as the people to teach the people. That's why we speak the way we do. That's why we walk and talk the way we do. We're not trying to, you know what I'm saying, have you think we're somebody that's not you. We are you. So we're going to start with movies, then we're going to get into the comic books, then we're going to get into the cartoons. We're going to get into all of it. You know what I'm saying? And show you the true essence and break it all down. This is a real good time to be in. It seems like it's a real bad time, but it's a beautiful time if you know what time it is. You see what I'm saying? So make sure you come out and support us as always. And we're going to continue to roll up our sleeves and bring it to you the only way we know how. And this is it. So with no further ado, I'm going to return it back over to Brother A.A. Rashid. And peace and blessings.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace. That's Brother Black Dot. Okay. How's everybody? Good. Okay. We're going to wrap it up with, this is our grand finale. And a few things I want to show you before we go. Primarily, that's how to delve into the text. But one thing I want to show people is how insidious the use of symbolisms are and how they are so deeply encroaching in on our psyche that we don't even know about it. Who's ever had a bag of Utz, potato chips? Everybody in here has had some Utz. They came seemingly out of nowhere. And before that, what was the big brand before that?
Bon-Ton.
Wise and Bon-Ton also. Now, Wise, what was the symbol for the Wise potato chips? The owl. And what does the owl represent? Wisdom. Also, what's the god that governed it? Heru. Well, more so, let's go with in the pantheon of the enemy. Moloch. And the Talmud, there's provisions for you to sacrifice your children as long as you do so to the god Moloch. So this is a lot of stuff we don't know about because there's a lot of texts that are out of our immediate reach. So now when we get a bag of potato chips called Utz, who questions, I'm eating it, I'm eating the sound, I'm eating all the associated ideas of this, but who's saying, what's a Utz? I'm eating it, what's a Utz? What do it mean? Do it mean potato? Do it mean potato chip? Actually, which way do we read Hebrew? From right to left. Utz is actually the word zu. It's 2 letters. Spelled Zodi and thou. Who's ever heard of a airline called KLM? You've heard of it? KLM? What does KLM stand for?
Malik?
The country goes to?
Well, what's the name? What's the symbol of KLM?
I think it's a crown or...
A crown. Now we say it left to right, KLM. But when you see it in the Hebrew, it's MLK. Hello? The MLK symbol is what? The crown. By implication, Melech, MLK means king. So whose airline is that? Jews, German Jews, or whatever, whoever it is. They encrypt their symbolisms into what they do. We participated not knowing it, but in essence give life to all that. Let's look up what the word zoo means in Hebrew. Very interesting. Very interesting that we consume these things and don't know what it means. Now, here we go with the word zu. Now, it's first given with the he behind it, and we always know that the he is the emphasis. The he is it's more grammatical than anything. So you can remove a he and the word can still have its connotations. Now the word zu means, or zu is actually zawa, or zuwa. It means command, order, instruct, or to give directions. And it's used in the Bible 333 times for the word commanded, 84 times for the word command, 23 times for the word charged, 6 times for the word commanded. Okay, and several other instances as well. All of this to say is that they encrypt. The enemy specifically encrypts into the society his symbolisms, and in doing so, he gets a ride, a free one, on our psyche. So wherever we go, wherever emotion we participate, its numeric frequency, its resonant level, he's able to participate in that. If you're happy, he can be happy. It's all about just feeling anyway. It's all about just being able to feel. That's what this place is here for. This is what Jehovah symbolizes. He symbolizes the 4 senses, the way you interface with the realms at large, or how your soul interfaces with the physical realms. So each letter of the tetragrammaton is actually one of the senses. Okay? So now, who has a Strong's exhaustive concordance of the Bible? Does anyone have one? Here's my, I've used it so much I lost the cover. Here is the best one. This is the Strong's, can you see me? This is the strongest Strongs. Everybody in TV land, you can get this from the Christian Book Club. We'll give them a plug. You got the receipt from the thing? Because everybody's always asking about where to get these. We're going to tell them right now. So there's no excuse not to have this at this point. And they deliver fast. This is where I got mine from. The Christian Book Distributors. P.O. Box 7000 Peabody, MA, what's that, Massachusetts? 01961-700, or hit them up online, christianbook.com. One word, christianbook.com. And get the strongest Strong's exhaustive concordance of the Bible. Now the way this thing works is, there's a sister named Sister Yafa Bay that has a tape out. Sarnetta has it, and I believe maybe Rich Downtown has it. But the tape is excellent. It's a tape on etymology. Check it out. The sister is given some heavy, heavy science, and she's sitting in a classroom full of people, and all of them have the actual books in their lap, and she's showing them themselves how to do it. Then she goes into a part where she talks about how to use the strongest. So there's 2 distinct lettering or keys in the back. Now this book here has every word in the Bible, its place that it's in the Bible, it has its meaning in the Hebrew, and it also has the Greek meanings as well. So this is a book that you have to have if you're running around talking about, you still think Jesus is black, and you think, you for a descendant of David and the Lion of Judah and all this other stuff, then you need at least a book where you can deduce some of these ideas to something coherent where you can really understand it. You want to get this, and from the Christian book distributor is another book. This is the Interlinear Bible, the Hebrew, Greek, English. You need this because this goes word for word on the text. And it will give you the literal text, give you the Hebrew, and everything else in between. As you can see, this page, we've marked off all the 32 times in the first chapter of Genesis where the term Elohim is mentioned. Because if you do some Kabbalistic exegesis on your own, you look at the words, the commands behind each of these 33, and you see that 32, these 32 are actually just symbolic of the interlaced connections between the polarities on the tree of life. The 32 times are actually the 32 channels, the 10 Sephiroth and the 22 paths. So when they say, on this day God did this, and on this day he did this, and then this split from that, and then all that, they're talking about the tree of life. The people who sat and wrote the text of the Bible had in front of them a key and a map in which to compose the text. The key being the 22 letters of the alphabet combined with the tree of life. That was their gauge. That was their rule, their rod, their path. Now, if you don't have this book and you don't have the strongest concordance, and you just have the Bible, rest assured you will never, ever be able to deduce anything inside that book to anything coherent. So you'll just be depending on the preacher man to tell you exactly what it's saying. And if you depend on him, he's going to lie to you, or rather just transmit the lie that he received, which is he received it in the schools of theology and whatnot. And anybody knows a doctorate in theology is the easiest doctrine on the planet to get. So I don't want to hear all these pig fat eating preachers talking about they got a doctorate in this and a doctorate in that, because they don't know that the text is all about freedom and not subjugating people. The text was used as a means by which for the priesthood to teach the people the higher sciences, but in baby talk. So those of us who have the key can unlock it. Now, the thing that unnerves me at this present state is the fact that many who do not see the import of Kabbalah are primarily the individuals who are not actually symbol literate at all, and do not see the significance behind symbolisms at all. So we have to be very mindful that our people are emotional people, and that we can be manipulated into taking on certain contexts, certain agendas, certain emotional agendas, and we have to be careful of how we view these things in retrospect to where they fit in this agenda. We have to be very mindful that we are now being pushed towards a ground war. So the things that everybody is fancying themselves as being these revolutionaries. People are utilizing outdated, outmoded chess move, checkmate moves, speaking about guts and glory and getting it on with the oppressor, but they have lost foresight as to where the actual ground war is occurring. It's not down here. These are the after effects of the war, which is either won or lost. So where is the field of battle? The field of battle is in the astral realm. The field of battle is on a whole nother realm. I wrote this book on on 6th Avenue. If you ever see those brothers who are homeless who sell the books out there, you never know. I bought this book for $1 on the astral realm. Its dwellers in the phenomena of the astral realm. Now, the brother Alim Bey said something very important on his street tape. He said that orgone energy is the astral realm. So if orgone energy is the astral realm, then we can create the circumstances to inaugurate orgone to create around us. So now, if we can manipulate orgone, very interesting thing too, the movie 300 is actually 309 when you look at it. The slash on the last 0 is a 9. Now the word, the number 309 is also a variant of the number 39. Now the number 39 is 13 thrice. And 39 equals the word in Hebrew called thel. Thel means the dew. Thel means the dew. Now, when you spell it backwards, lot. Lot means magic or sorcery. Okay? So numbers have play a very significant part in how the Bible and other things were transcribed and composed. Now, in the part of the Bible where it speaks about, and the woman shall have pain during her pregnancy, when you look at the Hebrew word for pregnancy, the word equals the number of days required for a woman to have a child. The word for pregnancy is the same amount of days, approximate, of how long it takes for a woman to have a child. Now, why is this so significant? This is significant when the priesthood began to write it because they said that the 4th day of the week is the best time to copulate. Why? So that the child is not born on the Sabbath. Because they know that 271 days is the amount of time required for a woman after conception to have the child. So if you have copulation on the 4th day of the week, it ensures that the child won't be born on the Sabbath day. So this is Qabala. Kabbalah is the received doctrine that we pass on from mouth to ear in the same way that we pass war stories and legends and things of that nature, or ways to, get over or to manipulate matter as we experience it. This is why the legalese of the time of the Sephardic Moors was Qabala. Their legalese, their ability to manipulate law, was based on their ability to manipulate the letters in which the law was actually created, to deduce it down to coherent terms in order for them to truly understand what the law is saying, and then not just create a gauge for you to not just see what it's saying, but give you room to manipulate it. So now, us not speaking the language of legalese, we have now been victims of it, and now we call ourselves colors. Now, very interesting, we're going to talk about this all next week. Very interesting thing, and we're going to go right back into the Strong's. Very interesting thing that we want to always realize is that the Caucasian cannot create anything, even evil. He can't even create corruption. He didn't even create corruption. See? In the end of the film, Apocalypto, if you saw the film, do you think that them people need any help with them white folks telling them how to, excuse me, not white, those Spaniards needed any, you think that the Indians needed any help from the Spaniards to teach them on how to enslave people? They had the slavery down pat. What color did they color the slave?
Blue.
Blue. Because the color of blue in this present epoch symbolizes the illusion. And they operate law through the color of blue. If an officer of any type of police, something associated with the state, does something to you, you're not suing him per se, unless you know how to, use UCC forms and put liens and whatnot and do that. But you don't sue the person who inflicted pain upon you. You sue the color blue. Did you know that? So what happened was the Spaniards learned our Moorish science on how to delegate the colors of law to people, and then they inaugurated their whole slave shit. They pulled up in them ships and seen how we was doing each other and said, that's how you do it? Thanks. And they've been pimping our science, warping it, abusing it, manipulating it to advance their agenda ever since. So it's very important that you ain't got to like Kabbalah. We don't want you to like it. Hell, it's not about liking it. Kabbalah is not the first word, nor shall it be the last. It's just one facet on a tremendous diasporic diamond that our people are. Like we did earlier with this, and we demonstrated with this that Yahweh's name does not appear in the English text at all. However, it appears in the Hebrew. Why did the transliteration not include the God name? Because either two reasons. Either the transliterator was lying, or the transliterator did not know the language, nor could transmit what it was saying. So use poetry, which is a form of deception, which is duplicity. Even duplicity is created by our people. Deception, we created the foreground for that. Okay, the whole Yahweh almost appears as Xerxes in the 300 movie because he's asking someone to bow down to him, right? So now in this instant, the entity that goes by the God name requires the attention of the personage Abram in order for him to inaugurate his agenda and work through the seed of Abraham. So he supplants within in the personage, he creates a split between the head and the waters with the breath, which is the he. Your new name is not Abram, not the Father on high, it's Abraham. So when he put the he in, he took one of the letters from his own name and put it in there. Now the word Rahim also means merciful. It also means merciful. So when you're dealing in this realm of polarities, if you're on the merciful side of something all the time, you're always susceptible to be the walk-in. When I say walk-in, for those perhaps who don't understand what I'm saying when I say walk-in, I mean one who's open for any level or form of suggestion that is directed towards them. So when we're talking about Kabbalah, we're talking about the doctrine of reception. Kabbalah is what you receive. The word itself means to receive. The first letter in the word Kabbalah is the Kaf. Kaf is another word for monkey. Tahuti was the symbol of, monkey was the symbol of Tahuti. Tahuti was the scribe. Tahuti copied, the scribe copied. See how we used animals? Because animals never change. They never change. We change our behaviors, but animals don't. So we use them as archetypes to express things. So if the calf being the back of the head symbolizes the monkey, the doctrine of reception and your ability to receive a thing is based solely off of your back of your head, your anatomy. Now this back hind part of your head is often called the emerald pillow in Chinese medicine, and it's a pump that pumps blood to the brain and allows the electromagnetic resonance from the spine to go to the nerve ending centers. Okay, so the whole thing of it all is about being a receiver. In order to be a receiver, you gotta have alkalinity. You know what I'm saying? In order to be a receiver, you have to have a crystalline matrix. that has to be cleansed and able to funnel through the receptive potencies of the universe that's always trying to talk to us. Now, when you go to the text inside of the Strongest, and we were to look up the word, let's say from the English, let's say the word for nations. What's going to happen is when we go here, we'll find, when we look up nations, in the Strongest, they have two forms of entries that give you a distinct knowledge of where the word appears in the Hebrew part or the Greek part of the Bible. Now, the way you can tell is that the Hebrew words, the italics are written straight up and down. In Greek, the italics are written sideways. So you know that the word appears in either, and you always see the Greek words first. And I'll pass this around for people to see. Now look, in the Strongest it says that the word nation appears 145 times. Tells you how many times the actual word appears. Then it also tells you all of the places that the word itself appears, right? Nation appears in the book of Genesis a number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, right? Now, it also appears in Exodus a number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Now, it shows you even here we have, here we have nation as it applies to verse in Genesis, verse 17:5. And it says, let me show everyone. It says, let me show you. See, nations? Mm-hmm. It says 17:5, for a father of many nations have I made thee. See? For a father of many nations I have made thee. Now the number after it, you see, 15:7, 17:5, excuse me, for a father of many nations I have made thee. Now look, on this line, can you see it? Is it focusing? Can you see it? If you focus it. Okay, because we got a lot of people that's in the Midwest, a lot of people that's in Chicago and Miami who would love to be here with all of us, right? So they got to get the stuff through the mail. So we want to have some type of consideration for them. Now, after where it shows you the word, it shows you the number. And there's a 4-digit number here. The 4-digit number here says 1471. So this tells me that I have to go to the back of the book, to the Hebrew part, which is the Hebrew. And then what's this other word after Hebrew? Aramaic. Aramaic dictionary index to the Old Testament. So now I go to page 1471. Excuse me, I go to number 1471. And let's see what the word for nations is. 1471. The word for nation is goy. Goy. So who are the goy? So if Abraham is the father of many nations, he is the father of the goyim. So when we follow Abrahamic religions, we're not coming from the standpoint where Abraham now is a peer of ours, he's a family member of ours, or we stem from the seed of him. He is the actual father of the lie that has been perpetrated subsequently after all of that. Because for Yahweh not be a real God, a demiurge God, a secondary urge God, the demiurge, the word demi means secondary, and it was used in medieval times for a stonemason. was called a demiurge, or any artificer good with his hands was a demiurge. So Yahweh is nothing but, also, you want to also take this in consideration, Yahweh could never be a distinct personage, because Yahweh is a thing in action. It's an action word. Yahweh symbolizes Yod, fertility, he, breath, vow, the vow meaning the peg which connects. The vow. So Yahi Vauhi is fertile breath fixed within this parameters, within this paradigm. So what happens is it's a consistent activity, Yahweh. It's a wave.
Is it the heartbeat?
It's also the heartbeat. When you hear it, it's Yahuwah, Yahuwah, Yahuwah. Ironically, the Tetragrammaton, composed of 4 letters, the heart is composed of 4 chambers. So the sound that it's making, the only thing constant is change. But the only thing that's changing is frequencies. So we're in that. We're consistently in that. But one thing that people are forgetting is that one place for one thing, one place for another. This vesture does not belong to the soul. The soul is manipulating this vesture to participate in this. This vesture is from this place. The soul body is from another entirely different place. The covenant, when you have established one, is the connection between your knowledge of your soul's experience and the physical vesture that is using to experience this place. So when the Caucasian or the enemy calls himself the British man, he's calling himself the covenant man, because the word British, Barith, Brit Ain means covenant I, British means covenant man. So being that they canonize all English law, all blacks' laws, all English law, they canonize all that, and they canonize even the words that we speak, then they are that I. They are imposing themselves or superimposing themselves in this reality, is saying that they are the all-seeing I. And what's the big symbol of Britain is what? Father Time, Ben Bay, Big Ben, the clock. Big Ben, the clock, which is just a reconfiguration of the clock that Benjamin Bay made. Ben Bay, the real Bay, made here, Banneker. See how they steal everything, reconfigure it, and recapitulate it to you. So now, when we see the goy in the term, we understand it. Now let's examine the word goy. Now, the word goy itself, by implication, it defines something that you travel on or manipulate. Because the first letter in the word is the gimel, and the gimel means what? Those of us who've been studying.
Camel.
The camel. The camel is the most ideal vehicle when one is traveling in the desert or along the wilderness, because it has discipline that you don't have. It can store water like that. And even the word itself, when you write it in Hebrew, the meme is in the middle of it, defining the fact that that's where the hump is, in the middle of it. That's where it stores its water. Okay, anytime you see something in the middle anyway, it means discipline. Something is being disciplined within two things. Now, the 2 letters on the word gimel is the gimel and the lamed. When you put them together, the word gimel lamed is gull or gel. Gel means skull. Okay? So these are all new archetypes, and when you get the tape and you watch the tapes over and over again, and you take and you utilize your notes, and in your downtime, you begin to try to deduce things down to coherent terms, you have at your access a whole body of information. You find yourself piecing things together that are very meaningful. Right? And it's not overnight. It's not overnight. And you'll find yourself, you get so deep into stuff in your study that you'll forget to eat, you forget you got to go to work tomorrow and all that, because you be in the whirlwind. You know what I'm saying? Now, Another way to deduce words down to coherent terms is that if you see a word in the Bible that says, if I go to Abraham, it's going to say the patriarchal father. But if I want to understand what the word means, I have to break the word down into roots. So Hebrew is composed of uni, bi, and triliteral roots. Now, the uni root is a one-letter word. A one-letter word conveys, like one letter can convey a whole host of concepts. So if I go look up, say I go look up the first word, what's the first letter in Hebrew? What's the first letter in Hebrew? Aleph. Now let me show you something. I'm not freestyling. The book will show you right here that the very first word in Hebrew is Aleph in the dictionary. And it says, see, Aleph, the sound is A. It has P, SUF, prefix, suffix, how it's interchangeably used, and it says she or her. Or it says totally not translated. So who's Hathor? Wasn't she represented as a bull or an oxen? So Aleph means ox. She became the devil later on when the white boy he tried to be her. When he put horns on his head, he wanted to be a woman. That's what he was doing. Now, when you go to Beth, which is the second letter, you see that it has uni roots as well. Now here it is. Now the word Beth, which is one letter, look. Beth, which is one letter. See? Beth, one letter. See the Beth? It's one letter. Let me show you. See the Beth? One letter. It's only one letter right there. See it? One letter, showing you that that one letter is a word. Beth, one letter. Now, it appears as the word in, right? 6,850 times, that one letter. It also means in, on, among, over, through, against, when, whenever, a spatial, temporal, or logical marker to show relationship of objects, words, and phrases. Okay? So one letter can convey so many concepts. So now, when we have the Aleph and the Beth combined, we get the word father. How? This is Qabala. See? Now we're going to challenge it in a whole nother space and context that does not provide itself. Like, we can't go to a book and get these type of findings. We can only channel them. So now Ab becomes father, ox, primal force, in, right? Beth, in, Aleph, primal force, which is the primal force. Aleph in, Resh is what? Head. So what are they saying? Abur, abur, abur. Now the original word for abracadabra, when they say abracadabra, abracadabra was abracala. Abracala equals, I think, the number 326. And that was the number or the word people used to utilize to start something off. They go, abracadabra, I'm going to do some magic. When they do magic, because they were invoking the word. So the first word is, when you go Aleph, Aleph has no sound. In the Sefer Yetzirah is symbolized by the element of air. In the Sefer Yetzirah, 3 letters are defined as the 3 mother letters. The 3 father letters are the 3 mother letters are what it looks like. The 3 father letters are its meaning. right? So the three mother letters, Aleph, Mim, and Shin, right, symbolize the elemental forces around us, and then the earth element is the personage, right? Okay, and this is another interesting thing, that the total number of all the possible words that you can make in Hebrew is 23 to the third power. Because it's really not 22 letters. It's 23 letters. Because the Shin has also the S sound too. It variants. And then in Hebrew legend, they say that the 23rd letter is lost. And it will come back when the Messiah returns. He's bringing the word with him, the letter with him. So they're playing a lot of games. Number 23, you seen that? The movie is amazing because it's all about how a book, and you just reading it, puts you into the story. So this becomes very important as I segue into my point. When you start calling yourself an Abrahamic, I'm a this Israelite and all this old crazy stuff, right? When you calling yourself that, you inherit all of the mythos in this legacy. If they are enslaved, so shall you be. If you saying that's what it is, unless you redefine the meaning of the text and take it to another level spiritually. Every time you say that, yeah, they was enslaved for 400 years and that's us, so shall it be. That's you. Because you trying to find yourself in the mythos, but so are they.